Hi everyone, this is Satish Oli from Civil Engineering Department. Today we are going to see an intake structure, and this video is in second part of my intake structure video. Previously you have seen what do you mean by intake structure, the different types of intake structure. Okay, so this is a one part of a simple submerged intake structure over here, so that we are going to see it. Okay, so previously you have seen various types, see lake, reservoir intake, river intake and canal intake. So this is a continuation of those intake structure itself. So today we are going to see regarding a submerged intake structure. So it's in simple concrete block or in rock filled timber supported by grub, okay, to the conduit, to that drawing pipe itself, okay, to the conduit itself. And the sump tank is being generally, you can see here the sump tank is being generally constructed on the shores of the river, and you got an intake over here. The conduit is being supported by grub. It may be of concrete, okay, maybe of in cast iron itself, and and it is being covered by a screen over here. You can see here we have got a screen which is being covered, so that the debris should not enter the intake structure itself. So this is in a river or a lake. Okay, so this is an intake and this is in sump well. Again, what he says, so it is generally constructed above 2 to 1.5 so that the silt should not enter. So this is a little bit higher from that low level itself, around say 2 to 2.5 meters above. So he has given it in that sense because it should not cover by any silt itself, and generally it is been placed in a lakes or streams, and in such a places that it should not bury under sediment. Okay, so this part should not bury under that sediment itself. So this is a simple concrete intake structure, submerged intake structure. So next part, again what he says is, so again intake structures can be divided into two types. So that a river or a reservoir intake can be divided into two types. One is in wet intake towers, another one is in dry intake towers. So major difference between a wet intake towers, and a dry intake tower is nothing but, in wet intake tower always there is a presence of water in that structure, whereas in a dry intake structure there is absolutely no presence of water in those intake structure. So generally this intake structure is in shell of a concrete, or I can say reinforced steel itself. Okay, so it is constructed up to a reservoir level itself. It has got a vertical shaft, and where the water conduit is being drawn over here. Okay, so it is being connected directly to the conduit pipes itself. Okay, in shell we have got an opening there is in made. Okay, for inside the concrete shell, as well as we have got an outside also. Okay, and there is a shaft which regulate the flow of water, and these conduits which takes the water directly to the treatment unit itself. Okay, so this is all about, okay, and wet intake structures. Now we will see what regarding a dry intake structures. So dry intake structures is nothing but, here also we have got in concrete shell over here itself. Okay, so the major difference between an intake structures of dry and wet is that in a wet intake structure what happens there is the water enters the ports, then to the tower itself. You can see here the water enters to the ports, then to that the index this itself, okay, entry ports itself. But okay, and there are two separate gates over here. In this structure we have gotten two separate gates over here. But whereas in a dry intake structure, the directly it is being conduits, means it is connected or it is being drawn directly to a conduit. Okay, and the gate is provided at that entry port over here itself. Okay, so when the gates are being closed, there is no water inside that intake structure. So this is a major difference between an river intake, and wet intake as well as in dry intake itself. Again, river intake structures can be divided into two types. There are twin tower intake, or can say twin well type or a single well type. So the difference between those are nothing but here there are two wells which are being constructed. Okay, so in single there isn't single well over here itself. Okay, so most the twin tower wells are used especially in Karnataka itself, in alluvial river itself. Okay, especially in the Krishna river basin, especially in Belgaum district itself. So you can see easily, you can see on the river of Dudh Ganga, Ved Ganga, when we travel from Nipani to Kolhapur itself, you can find twin tower wells itself. You can see in near Hidkal Dam also. Okay, so generally the typical structures consist of an intake well, an intake pipe, and a jack well itself. Okay, it may be built of concrete or a masonry structure. A structure rises above that of an HFL level. That's in high flood level itself. Okay, so entry ports consist of an screen bars, and it has been placed around say 50 to 30 center to center spacing. Okay, and the diameter of the bars usually it is around 20 mm, and the velocity they tend to restrict an velocity around 15 to 20 centimeter per second. Okay, so that the debris which is getting inside those well should be prevented. So now, as I stated earlier, there are two terms here, means two wells over here. Okay, one is an intake well, one is in as we can see here is in jack well over here. Okay, as typically this is shown typical what it consists of. Okay, so this is an withdrawing or again withdrawn conduit. Okay, a conduit pipe over here. So there is an intake, there is a jack well, there is a conduit pipe over here. Usually there are 2 to 3 levels entry ports are being made. Okay, so that water can be drawn in case of an low stage, when during the summer season when the water level drop down, the medium stage, okay, as well as during a high flood level. Okay, you can make a water enter in that, so they can be made into 3 stages. So intake is connected to an jack well over here. Okay, through an conduit pipe. Okay, so this intake pipe is also constructed of an RCC. Okay, and its depth may be around 1 to 2 meter, and so, and this is also called as an jackwell intake pipe, and it is being generally sloped around 1:200 towards this jackwell itself. And the velocity here it is being restricted to around say 1.2 meter per second over here. Okay, and this pipe size should not be less than 45 centimeters. If it is less than that, what happens again, there is an debris which may enter into that, they may be choked. Okay, and it may cause many problems to that intake structure itself. Okay, so water enters through this jack well, and from the jack well there is a pump which takes the water out and delivers it to a treatment unit itself. So this jack well may have an what I can say in diameter of 4 to 5 meters. Okay, so this is all about twin well type of intake structure, or can say some books they have stated as an twin tower intake also. Next one, a single tower intake, or can say single well type of an intake structure. So as the previous case, there was an additional structure over here, but now there is no additional structure over here. Okay, and in what you can say twin tower intake, one is in the riverbed, another one is on the shore. Okay, so this jack well is always on the shore itself. Now with the single type structure, this is constructed near an weir itself. Okay, where you tend to store the water and you tend to rise the water level. Okay, it is generally constructed near the sleeves itself. Okay, or near the weir itself. Sorry, the sleeves. It is generally constructed near the weir itself. Okay, and where the water is being collected and it is being taken to in canals or to in conduits. Okay, and the necessary where you want to supply the water, you are going to supply it. Here it consists of a single jack well over here. There is no intake structure, only we have got an jack well over here. Okay, and this what it does, it eliminates a separate arrangement regarding an separate intake wall or again an intake pipe over here, which is necessary to connect both the towers or twin wells itself. Okay, one for an from intake towards an jack well over here, as we have seen here. It has been there is a conduit which connects this intake towards that jack well over here. So these two are eliminated over here. Okay, in this case these two are being eliminated. So we tend to make some entry ports over here, and for that entry ports what we do, we place some screen bars, okay, to remove those debris and all. So water directly enters to this jack well, and from where the water is being lifted up over here. And it should be constructed where there is less sedimentation. Okay, and normally what happens here is, in this tower the sediments are tend to settle down at the bottom over here. In the bottom we call it as an silt zone over here. Okay, where those sediments tend to collected over there, and the water has been lifted up, and these well need to be cleaned up periodically. It is necessary to clean up these well periodically itself. Okay, so this was all about in single well type of an intake structure. In some books they have called it as a single tower intake structure. Okay, so here we call it as a single well type of intake structure. So thank you very much. This was all about intake structure in for that first semester, that is 18 CV 46, it's in second model, and for 17 CV 64, it is in fifth model itself. Okay, so thank you very much.